Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. With the release of Breakdance 2.0, there's been a lot of buzz about the recent update to Breakdance, and one of the key features that we're going to take a look at today is the Breakdance preset that has been extended to the elements level. And Breakdance continues in its mission to show and demonstrate that presets are a much easier way for beginners to add styles to elements compared to using classes. This is undoubtedly a very controversial issue, and today we're going to take a look at how Breakdance preset compares to classes in builders like Bricks or Oxygen. But today we're going to be using Bricks to make the comparison with Breakdance because I don't want to be jumping between three builders. So we're going to take a look at this comparison in two ways. One will be ease of use and the other one will be maintainability and scalability. Let's see how Breakdance preset first workflow compares to Bricks class first workflow. And we're also going to be comparing between two different types of elements or components in Breakdance and Bricks, and that is namely pre-made elements and custom components. Pre-made elements are those the builder supplies or provides for you. They come pre-built. For example, this pricing table you see here, like this is Breakdance, and in Bricks we have a pre-made element, also a pricing table. We're going to take a look at how the use of preset versus the use of class can be used to configure a pre-made element. And we're also going to take a look at how the use of preset versus the use of class can be used to style a custom component like this card. Before we start, I just want to clear the air that it is very possible to use classes in Breakdance, but Breakdance wasn't designed to be a class-first workflow. Breakdance is certainly a class-based workflow. But the primary target of Breakdance users are those who want to get their site up and running as fast as possible and who don't have all the time to learn the fundamentals of CSS and class-based styling. And this is the reason Breakdance has decided to take this approach. So let's go ahead with a comparison. The first thing we're going to compare is ease of use. In Breakdance, preset is a reusable set of style configuration that can be applied to any element in the builder. Classes can also be defined in the same way. They are a reusable set of CSS rules that can be applied to any element. So we have a pre-made element in Bricks and we also have a pre-made element in Breakdance. And if you want to style this in Bricks, so let's see. So I'm going to come here. If you go to style, you have a generic style that applies to all sort of elements, and you have the content here. For example, if you want to add a pricing table, you can add a different one, but let's not do that. Okay, I'm gonna stay here. So I can open this up, right? And then I can start styling the background. And let's say we want the background to be that color, something brighter. Okay, much brighter. And okay, the header here, the subtitle here, you have the padding, the background color. So we already had table background, and then we have background color. Okay, that is for the top part. That's cool. And then we have the title typography. We want it to be this. Subtitle, we have the different styles for the subtitle. Then you have the pricing, the prefix, and those are stylings, meta styling, background color of the pricing. So yeah, so you have the features. So you have the different features. If I decide to add one, I'm just gonna say a demo feature. So you see these are, let me not go ahead. So I'm gonna move over to Breakdance, and also I'm gonna style this. So we have the container, the background color. I want a background. I've not set my predefined color. So yep. So I want to make the background color something like that. Good. We have the padding, we have the borders, border color. Good. All right. Okay. I think the thickness, want to make it like 1 pixel, right? And then we have the price. You can move the price below or above, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Yep. And then we have the amounts. You could make the amounts like that per year. So I'm just going to do this configuration like that. And we have this badge, and the color of that badge, I would like it to be something like add. Okay, something like that. All right. So there's a lot of design features here. Okay, you have the button. And I want the button, you could set it as primary, secondary, custom. Okay, so I want to set it as custom. Okay, and then I want the background to be my red color like that. The question now is, now let's go to Bricks. I'm going to add a class here. I'm going to just call it my pricing table. and I'm going to duplicate it. So we have two of them with my pricing table, and in Breakdance we're going to create a preset instead of a class. So I'm going to come here, and then I'm just going to say create preset from design. I'm just going to call it my pricing table. Now what happens here in Breakdance is that the styles move from the element level to the preset level. Okay, so all the styles have moved over. In Bricks, the styles that we applied here, we can see that they are there whether or not we select the class or not. So I'm not quite sure what is going on here, but let's see. I'm going to select this pricing table, go to the background, and then I want to change that title background color. Okay, so trying to change that background color, it changes only on one, even when the class is selected. So there is, it appears that there is nowhere background color. It appears that you can actually style the components, the pre-made components, with classes here. So that makes the use of these. Now, if I'm missing something, please, I would like you to put it in the comment section. Okay, just tell me what I'm missing. But as far as I know, I've applied class to this. Okay, and we can style it globally. Now let's go to Breakdance and duplicate this. I just want to make it 3. And any one of them you select, you're going to see a edit button here. And here you have the pricing table that we created. So we're going to go here and let's see, we can change that. And we can change everything at once. Okay, nice. And go to the price and bring it here. You go to the amount. You can change that. You go to currency position. You can swap it for each of them. The button, I could just change all of them to text at once, secondary, primary, or custom. Okay, go to custom. Now I think I'm blocking something here. So you could change anything you want to change like that. I think one of the advantage of having preset in Breakdance is that it can be designed to apply to pre-built elements. I would like to believe that this can be done in Bricks if they want to do it, but at the moment it's not just a feature. It just doesn't work. Okay, you can't change this globally, so that makes it practically unusable for any website that needs these items to be styled globally. The second thing about a preset in Breakdance is that even when you are working on some other thing, okay, so of course you have to save it once you finish. It's going to prompt you anyway. Now, if I go here and then go to design presets, I can see the preset that even when I'm currently selecting the section, and I'm going to go to my pricing table, and it's telling me like I should select the pricing table with this preset, apply to it. And I really don't want to, I just want to edit it anyway. So I'm going to go in here and it still works. So that means that if you go to the list of your preset, you really don't need to go back to the elements to select it for it to work. The styles are already going to be applied to any element that has that preset applied to it. So that's really nice. But here we've already concluded that we can use that here. But what about classes? Let's jump into things that we can use classes for. So I have this featured card here in Bricks. I'm just going to call this featured card. And then I'm going to call this featured card image wrap. And then I'm going to call this featured card content wrap. All right, so here I'm going to save that. So that means we can start styling this using a class. Now in Breakdance, you could actually apply a class just like that. I mean, it's very easy to apply classes just like now it is not, like I said, the workflow in Breakdance is not a class. That's why you can see design preset here. You're not seeing classes here the way you're seeing a space to put class in Bricks. It comes in the forefront. In Breakdance, the space to put classes are actually, you have to go into the advanced and then you can add your classes from here. But there's a very simple, easy shortcut that you don't even need to take your hands off the keyboard. You can just press CLA and start typing, featured card. So for example, look, I'm right here at the moment, and then I want to add featured card class to here in Breakdance. So I type CLA and just start typing featured card. and automatically I can start keep on adding other classes if I want, but I don't want to add. And then I can come here, just CLA featured card image wrap, and then I can come here, CLA featured card. You know, the beautiful thing is that you don't even need to, once you select the elements, you don't need to take your mouse all the way up to click, you know. So it's I like that nice keyboard shortcut. There's probably some nice keyboard shortcut in Bricks to focus on the class. Okay, so in Bricks it's like a command enter, control enter. Yeah, you could do that and also add classes. For example, I can add a new class here. But the thing is, once you add, you can't keep typing in case you want to add more classes. So but in Breakdance, once you add a class, you can just continue typing and adding the class if you want. I think I like that approach. So we have added classes to this, and maybe the button, you know, I want to add my class to the button. Featured card. Now I'm just adding these classes in Breakdance to demonstrate that you could use classes in Breakdance, but we're looking at presets. So what do we do? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm still going to use presets here. Okay, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to design this. So I'm going to go to layout. Everything is okay. It's already there. 20 right there. I'm going to come here. Yeah. Then I'm going to just go to layout like that, gap of 10. Okay, now so my featured card, I want to give it a background of something very light like that, and I want to give it a padding of 32 pixels all around. Okay, I'm going to select the image wrap, and I want to give it a border. Under container, you can go to borders, and I want to give it a 50 VW to make it small, and the width, I want to make it 80. So I'm going to select this again. Now notice that I am working on the ID level. Look, I said I'm not going to touch the classes in Breakdance. I just added the classes for demonstration purpose. So I'm going to just make this like this, and this for this. I'm going to set this like that. So I'm done with that. Now in Bricks, what I'm going to do is select this. I have to make sure the class is selected. You have to remember to select the class, right? And then I'm going to select this. I'm going to do the margin of 32 pixels also. Okay, and the image wrap, the width. But in this case, in Bricks, I have to use max width of 100. In Breakdance, you can use width because the max width default in Breakdance is 100%. So using width is perfectly safe. Now, like I said, Breakdance really dumps it down, not to confuse the beginners about the differences between width and max width. So they just want everything to be straightforward, you know. Now, in Bricks, you really have to understand the CSS rules, the fundamentals of CSS properties to know that you're not supposed to use width, but max width. So in Bricks, that's why I'm using max width. And then the border, where do we find border? Border, okay. Border radius. Okay. And I guess I need to do overflow hidden. So let's go overflow, type in hidden to hide it. In Breakdance, this thing we already put that overflow. I think if I go to modified, you're gonna see that I had already set that overflow hidden. So the overflow hidden is here. Okay, so it wasn't there initially, so I had to do that. I had to add it. So you see overflow hidden is not here. So if you want to look for it, you just shift F and just type overflow. Shift F will just focus here to search the advanced properties, and then you just choose hidden. Okay. So the feature card display should be flex and center it like that, like this, and center. I'm gonna display it now. Definitely, I should have been using blocks. Okay, for this. For these, I should have used blocks. For these, div is okay. I'm still image wrap. Then for content wrap, I should have used blocks. So I'm just going to convert that to a block. Convert it to a block. Okay. So it's going to give me the flex property, and I'm going to select that, and then it's as 10. Featured card background. Yep, put a background there. Okay, so we have that design in Bricks and we have a design here. So the design in Bricks uses classes and the design in Breakdance uses preset. So what am I going to do? So well, we haven't actually applied preset here. So what I'm going to do is this. Now, if I want to duplicate this, for me to be able to style the duplicates globally, I have to apply preset to the elements, okay? So what I'm going to do is to select this, and then I'm going to create a preset. From here, I'm just going to call it featured card. I would name it the way I would name classes. I'm selecting the image wrap. I'm going to call it feature card image wrap. And I'm going to select the content wrap, and then I'm going to call it. Note I'm creating the preset from the design. So what that does effectively is that it moves that design, all the styles to the preset. So I'm going to call this featured card content wrap. And the button, I think I gave it a style. If you want to style the button, okay, so there is no option for styling because we have not given that button any style. So I'm going to make it a primary button, and then that will give us the option to create a preset. So feature card button. Yeah, now time to style it. So in Bricks, you could just to style it, you have to remember, so we're going to duplicate this, okay? And in Bricks, you have to remember, so if you go in here and change the background, only one changes. So you have to remember to select the class. So if you don't remember to select the class, you could go ahead and start applying styling just to see that, oh, everything I did was on the ID, and then you have to go back to delete it. Now in Breakdance, there is no opportunity to make any mistake with the preset system. So what you're going to do is, once you select this, you cannot edit this because you're currently doing it on the preset. So if I duplicate this 3 times, so if I click edit here, it's going to give me the options to edit the background. So I can move this. Okay, I want them to be a dark themed. Okay, let's just make it a dark theme, and then I'm going to go to typography. Not that. I'm going to go, yeah. I did not apply preset to that text. Now this is one of the limitations that you may have, in preset, because the preset of the parent element is limited to where you have the properties of the parent elements. You see, it's not a generic property, it's very limited to that. So now while in Bricks, you can select the parent and go to typography and change the color of the text element. So the text element is going to inherit the color of the typography, even though the parent is not a text, but it can cascade the style down to its children that are text by inheritance. So making it unnecessary to add a special class for the text if you don't need to. So you could go to the parent here. That is the parents. We were on the feature card. You could change the font size here. Okay, you could change the alignment from there, from the parents. Now that's the beautiful part about classes, that you could cascade that style down to the children that are not using that particular class you're editing here. So if we need a global class for this, what we're going to do is we're going to just, I'm going to go to the typography, change the color to white, and then I'm going to create a preset. I'm just going to call it featured card text. And then I'm just going to come here and apply that preset to it. So that means any other time that I come here to edit the typography, you can see that I can edit all of them globally. So you have to remember to add the preset value to all of them. One of the other key differences in using preset versus using classes is if you are working on, let's say, a similar kind of element, let's say another div. So I'm going to add, I'm going to select the section here, and then I'm going to add a div to that section. And I want to have the same preset as that div. I'm going to come here, and then only the preset that applies to divs will show up here. I want you to notice now I have a preset with a button, okay, feature card button, but because I'm selecting a div, only preset that have to do with divs applies here. You don't have preset, you don't have all the presets showing down. So the presets are kind of contextual. With the classes, whatever you select, so let's say I add a div here, or a block, and then I come to the class list. I'm going to have a list of all the classes ever made on this, whether the class was designed for a block, for a div element, whether it was designed for a text, it doesn't matter, it's going to show up here. Now for a new user, for a beginner, this can be daunting, this can be a bit confusing because there is no contextual, awareness when it comes to how these classes are shown. It has no context, everything just shows, so you have to know exactly what you're looking for, you have to know exactly what you're doing. So it requires a little bit of a learning curve, a little bit of professional expertise to be able to work effectively with the class system. Now, that it does not in any way mean that the class system is lacking. It simply means that with the robust feature that the class system has, it requires you to learn how to use it, to be able to use it. Presets are very, very straightforward. So if I bring in this and I go to my preset, only the pricing tables are going to show. If I decide to add another pricing table, so let's say I had a lot of pricing table presets. Once I go here, only pricing table preset is going to show. It's not going to show any other class. So only the class that I need to apply to that element is going to show up. So that is why presets are much easier to use. Now let's take a look at scalability and maintainability. How easy it is to scale and maintain elements that are created with preset versus classes. Let's take a look at the differences. Let's assume, now let me delete this. Let's assume I wanted the card in the middle to be a different color, red. If I go into edit, that everything is going to turn to red, and I don't want that. Okay, I don't want that. Okay, I'm going to discard that. Now I want just this to be red. The only way I can do that is to unlink it, and when you unlink it, it's going to maintain the style of that preset. So what you want to do is to go in and change that, and then you go back and save this as a separate preset. So I can call this featured card -- red or highlight, because you want to highlight that card. Now I have another preset. Now take a look at something. If I come here to this preset and I want to add something to it, like say a border, or maybe a light blue border like that. Okay, let's just make it really big, 5. Now you can see that this is no longer controlled by that original preset. For every preset that uses, okay, for every section on your website that uses this, and you want to add the border, you have to do this two times. So you have to do it on this, and then you have to go to this and do it. Now let's see how we can do that. So I'm going to click here to edit. I'm going to go to the border, okay, container. I'm going to right click and copy the container property here. The good thing in Breakdance is you're able to copy just a specific section of the styling, and then I'm going to come here and edit here. I'm just going to paste that container property. No, I didn't. It's the same thing that I was editing something. All right, so I'm going to come here and paste that container. So you see, I can just copy that and paste here. Then from here onwards, every card, modified card, okay, that is like a modifier. Every modified card that has that modifier presets is going to be able to change, independent of the other ones. Now let's take a look at how it works in classes. Now I have here, I want this class to be different. I want this to be highlighted. So I simply just say featured card highlight. And then now let me duplicate this section. So we have 2 of them. Okay. So I'm going to select that, and you have to remember also, make sure you select the feature card highlight. I want to change the background color. I'm going to set this to dark, and then I'm going to go to typography and set it to a bright color. And right there, I have my modifier. So this is called a modifier class. So now, if I go to the original class, I can apply some other properties that are not applied here, and it's going to apply globally. So let's say we go to layout and want to increase the top padding to 60 and the bottom padding to 60. So I have 60. Let's just make it 0, 0. So you can see that it affects the modifier because the class of feature card is still applied there. So the classes in this aspect has an upper hand when it comes to scalability and maintainability, because you still have the original class applied to the modified card. So that is one advantage of classes, because you can actually extend it by chaining different classes to it, and the original, the first one you added, can still be used to have a global style over all of them, even though you're making small changes to individual card by adding other classes to them as needed. I'm not quite sure if it is a feature that Breakdance can implement, but I would like to believe that if they're able to implement some sort of modifier preset to it, if they still want to go that direction, that would be great. But if you're working with Breakdance and you need this kind of functionality, then you're better off just going with the class system. If you know you're going to need that kind of scalability and maintainability in what you're building, then you're better off using the classes in Breakdance instead of using presets. But presets, for the most part, do what they are designed to do, to make it easy for you to add a globally styled component and a pre-made component and your personal component. So you have to decide which one you're going to use. So there is these two powerful tools that you have the preset and you have the class. So whichever one you want to use is up to you as a Breakdance user. So the most beautiful part about Breakdance preset is the fact that you can apply them to pre-made elements like this. One last thing we want to take a look at in comparing presets to classes is the ability to target elements with custom CSS. Now, presets are not designed for them to be targeted with custom CSS. So you're limited to whatever options the preset gives you. For example, if you want to apply a pseudo element, you really can't use preset to do that. In that, you have to fall back to classes. If you want to target a particular element using the parent element, for example, like I said, being able to target the text using the parent class, except it is in a pre-built element where provisions are made to things like that, where you can target the title of these texts globally, or you could target the price of these. Because they are pre-made elements, you could target them using the preset. But if you're building your custom components like this, you're better off using classes to style them. And one of the other things that presets are really good with Breakdance is buttons. You could have preset for different kinds of buttons. They're quite easy to style, very easy to maintain, because of the way buttons are usually a pain in the ass, because of the way that buttons are designed. For example, if I add a button here, you can see that this button, let me unlink this button. You see this button has secondary, primary, and things like this are not really very straightforward when you're using classes, because once you apply a different type of button, you effectively probably would lose some of the styling you use classes for. So this is a very good use case for styling buttons. For example, if I come here and go to edit the preset, you can see that I still have access to my different kind of button. And that is, for most of the time, using preset is going to save you time. So I guess the question is, how often are you going to use those features that you have in classes that are not available for preset? How often are you going to use that? Majority of the time, depending on your kind of work and your workflow, how often are you going to use those advantages of classes over preset compared to how often you need to use the advantages of preset, which is very fast to use, very easy to understand, very easy to apply, very easy to set up, compared to classes that you need a little bit of a learning curve to apply and understand how they work. I'm not in any way saying that classes are very difficult to know how to apply or use, but compared to preset are just a little bit more convenient to use. So what do you think? Let me know in the comment section. What would you use if you had the opportunity to have presets and classes in the same builder? Which one would you use the most? So being able to style these pre-made elements globally has a huge advantage, because Breakdance has a lot of pre-made elements just like this, and you are able to apply preset and style them globally. Bricks also has a couple of pre-made elements. Unfortunately, you really can't style them globally. So it's nice to see that Breakdance has both tools in your arsenal, where you could use preset for what you need preset for, and you could use classes for what you need classes for. So which of these builders are you using? Are you using Breakdance or Bricks, or both of them? If you have never tried Breakdance Builder, I'd like you to give it a try and let me know what you think about the presets. Breakdance is available for download for free. It is also available for purchase. Some of these pre-made elements are not available in the free version, but you can play around with them in the free version, but you can actually use them on a live site. If you want to get Breakdance Pro, I have a link in the description. It is an affiliate link. That means if you get Breakdance using that link, I get a small commission at no extra cost to you. Until next time, do have a great day. Bye.